Welcome back to the podcast. It's been a few months. I am back in Melbourne now, and I have space in my calendar to be doing this again. So I'm very excited to be sharing the next lot of episodes as they roll out. Today, I wanted to speak about two things. Number one, my book that's coming out in 2 weeks. Very excited about my new book called As If by Magic. It's a collection of stories from people who have followed intuition to create amazing things in their life, whether it's to get out of real big challenges in business, health, family, and they've used this state of awareness to shift out of those challenges to create a desirable future. That's in the book. We've also got a lot of embedded in people's stories. We've got a lot of wisdoms on actually, what it's like to use intuition, how to use intuition, how to actually tune into it, how to know if it's not your intuition. We've got so many golden nuggets within this book that's going to help people who are ready to embrace this orientation, if you will, when it comes to creating the life that they love. So I'm going to be speaking about that on this episode, but also I want to speak about the nature of intuition today. That's the big thing that stood out. To go into detail within this episode, because that's essentially what we're covering throughout all these stories. And I'm gonna dive deep into one particular theme that I've based my chapter on, which is that um, when you follow intuitive guidance without needing to know what's going to happen, that's where the magic really comes to play, and we're going to dive into that. So let's start with that at first, because that theme is essentially how I got involved in this book. I remember when I was in Central Coast earlier this year, just before I went over to Europe. My friend Lucy Kabaya, she reached out to me and she said that she had this book idea to get a bunch of people together who use intuition daily on all areas of their life, and they're well trained in using it, to share their story on how it changed their life for the better. And she said, "Are you interested? I've got a publishing team, editing team, and all kinds of people involved in this book idea." And I said, "Of course, this is 100% me." Um, Whereby at the same time, I was thinking, "Oh wow, I really want to write my own book on this topic." But I did a truth circle on it. Now, for those of you that don't know what a truth circle is, a truth circle is an intuitive practice where you get outside your head, your thoughts and your feelings, anything that is related to what you think is right, and you tune into, what is in service to your highest good. Now, this is a totally different topic that will take probably another podcast episode to speak about. But I believe every human has a highest good. They have a higher purpose that they're serving. And the assumption is whenever we get into this truth circle, we know that this practice is aligning us to that highest good, to that higher purpose. And when we can do that, we know that the decisions that we make, they're in service to that. So whether we're saying yes to an opportunity or no to an opportunity, we know it's for the betterment of that purpose that we're here to fulfill. So I did the process and I got a yes. Now, though my ego was going, "You should be writing your own story, and you're a lone wolf and you don't really like to collaborate that often," I went with the yes. And there was still a lot of resistance. It's like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. There's so many different parts of my life that I've used intuition to experience great results. And I don't even know if it's the right time to be writing my next book. I mean, I'm focused on business. I'm focused on building out my audience. It doesn't seem like it's necessarily the right time. Coming from the background that I came from in sales and marketing, it's like in that world, you write a book when you've got a list to sell it to, if you focus on just making money. But when you're just focused on intuition and you're just focused on fulfilling what is true for you in that moment at that time, it's just like, well, I got a yes, so I'm going to do it. So that's what I did, and that's that simple. When I got to Spade, I kept tuning in. Is it time for me to start writing? Is it time for me to start writing this book? And it wasn't until 2 months into my trip that I began. And it was a powerful process. I tell you, the first I wrote two versions and didn't quite hit the nail on the head of what I could see in the vision. But it turns out from those two versions, I got a lesson, a key lesson about intuitive writing that helped me get the third and final copy into the publishers just last week, which was really cool. Big milestone to tick. And so um, we'll go into a little bit more around how that came to fruition, but I really want to hit home on this following intuitive guidance without knowing why. When you're able to put aside what the rational mind says as the things that need to happen in your life right now, what's important, what you're challenged with, what makes sense, when you're able to just put all that aside and realize that that is no more than just a tape recorder that's replaying things that you've already experienced in your life in the form of a voice, right? That seems real. It seems real, but is motivated by the pains and the challenges that hurt you in the past. When you can realize that, it's like, well, you're playing, but I am getting in my practices that my truth now is to do this. And I know a lot of people, that they start this work and it's like, I'm getting this, but I'm scared to do it. I'm scared to go with the guidance. The thing that because I experienced that too when I started following my intuition, but what changed it for me was when I said, I now live my life knowing what I'd love and totally committed to the guidance unfolding in whichever way it's going to unfold. So if I get a yes, I let go of all expectations of what the yes means. I still, to this day, guys, I'm excited about this book, but I don't know what it's essentially going to do. I know what I'd love, but I'm vulnerable to that love, that end result unfolding in whichever way it's going to unfold, even if it doesn't happen, right? So this is essentially how you really open yourself up to following intuitive guidance. I've noticed I don't lean in as much as I can when my mind is occupied by solving problems or preventing things from happening. Like there's just this, it's like a lack of bands around me pulling me back and going, don't go all the way in, just stay back here, right? Um, and 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 when it's just like, well, the problems are here, but this is what I'd love and this is what I'm going for, that's when I can fully lean in. And so it's a powerful place to be. And that's what my chapter's about. That's what I really go deep into. I go deep into how there was all these problems in my life, all these frigging things that were nagging at my head. You don't have a committed career, you you don't have a home, you're traveling around Europe. But this back in 2021, the first time I got out of Australia during the pandemic, going around America, Europe, all these places, and you just, what, you're 28 and you're just berating me with like, you're not set up, you're not on the path that you were taught was success at your age. And it's just like there were all these problems just making me feel really depressed. And what was incredible at the time was there were a lot of things in my life that were actually unfolding in favor of what I'd love, but I just didn't see it. I just chose not to see it because there's all these problems taking up my attention, going, you aren't where you're supposed to be at 28. And over here, there's music, there's fans who are liking my music, there's a coaching business unfolding, there's new friends, there's stunning scenes of Lake Como and LA, and I'm going, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it because I'm in the problem-solving orientation, which is where all magic goes to die, essentially. So That's what the chapter's about. And so if you can be courageous enough and vulnerable enough to just go, problems are always going to exist, but solving them doesn't necessarily mean that I'll have what I truly love. That's when you can really follow intuition. And that's where you realize, well, when you experience the magic of intuition, that's where you go, actually, life's pretty magical, man. It's not painted as this dark war. That's how I used to see it. It's like this war. Everyone's out to get me. Everyone's out to get me, and I got to fight off my problems before my problems get the better of me. Now it sounds dramatic, but when you go deep into your unconscious, you get a good read of this stuff. So, um, that's what we that's when you can allow yourself to go there and see both in that intensity as well. Because you can hear in my words what how I'm describing intuition and also the problem solving orientation. When you can see it in its intensity, in its actual truth, that's when you realize, well, I'm not going back to the mundane life. It's a choice. Life can be either this mundane thing that we think we've got to fix, or it can be this thing which in its actual truth, it's like there are an abundance of opportunities that I can choose. There are an abundance of opportunities that I can choose. And in amongst that abundance, there are opportunities that are actually true for me to go on, to go follow through on. And if I don't need to know why I'm even being pulled to go and follow through on them, then I've got more power. I'm free. I was very tempted to break into song there, but I'm not going to do it. Tom Petty, Free Falling. Anyway, you guys know where I was going. Um, yeah. Oh, so tempted. But anyway, that's what I speak about in my chapter. And I think that for anyone out there, if you're listening to this and you're at a stage in your life where you've hit this ceiling and it's like, fuck, I am fucking tired. I swear on my podcast, I'm fucking tired of solving the same old dramas time and time again. And I'm tired of kissing ass, and being someone other than what I know I can be. You get these hints of what you could be. Then let me give you a little nudge in a direction that's helped me. Let go of trying to understand why you're doing things. I think why is completely overrated. I've said this many times on my podcast. Why is very underrated because a lot of people look for why to justify. And I think when you need to justify things, you lose your power. So instead, all I need to know is like a surface level why. Is it true or not true? Yes, cool. No, let it go. That's what my mentor taught me. Best advice I ever got. There are a lot of great pieces of advice, but this is like a top five, hit in my library because it's just allowed me to live. It's just allowed me to live, flow, and go here and go. Oh, we're going to Spain now. We're doing this. We're doing that. Right? I don't need a reason. I'm just creating my life. But beforehand, when it was like I've got this business and I've got to win this client and make these sales and get here before I can go here, before I can do it's just heavy. It's heavy. And if you asked me why I'm doing it that way, I would give you all the reasons why I was doing it. And it would sound, oh, geez, Jordan's very committed, but Jordan's also very suppressed. Very suppressed. He's very unhappy, very depressed behind the scenes. Very depressed. Okay. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. So, that's when we can give ourselves that freedom to go, I am getting that it's true for me to take this action step that seems like it makes no sense at all. I don't even know what it's going to bring me, but I'm getting it's true. When you can lean in with an open mind and an open heart too, whew, man, does life get exciting. It gets adventurous. Man, fuck exciting. Exciting's like a thing that goes, but when it's an adventure, man, you're just nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. That's my lesson from that I got from writing this chapter. It's like, man, if there's anything that I learned from the last 4 years, It's that when you let go of all this, why am I doing this? These nagging thoughts. That's what those fingers mean. And you can go, cool, this is what I'm getting. It's a bit wacky and weird, or it doesn't make sense at all, and I'm feeling really triggered by it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Man, things open up. Things really do. So this book, it's coming out October 29th. I don't have anywhere to send you guys right now, but if you're watching this after October 29th, head to the description and there'll be a link there to go grab it. It is me and nine other authors sharing our story on how powerful intuition has been in our lives, how we applied it to get out of all kinds of challenges and mundane situations to create some pretty amazing things in our life. And I think the more people, if you're someone watching this and you have a story about intuition, here's my thing for you to do. Get out and share it. Get out and share it. Our world can only be better. Our world, our people can only be better for it once they hear how intuition has benefited your life. I believe the more people that follow their intuition, the better our planet is going to be for it. The more centered we will be, the less reactive we'll be, the less violent we'll be, the less wasteful we'll be, the less we'll actually harm what's going on around here. We're so focused on competition and wars and it's problem solving, classic problem solving. I'm out and I don't know about this fucking person, that person, and gossiping and all the stuff that basically weighs us down. If we start living intuitively and embracing our truths, a lot of that just starts to go away, right? And I think, and it's not like we're going to get rid of all that stuff. That I don't want to sound like I'm out to, um, eradicate all that other side because that's always going to be there. But there are people out there who have woken up, who have been following their intuition, and if you're not out there sharing how it's benefited you and talking about it to other people, then there's gold that could be helping someone else to wake up. There's gold that could be helping someone else to share their story that's going to waste. So I want to give you a piece of encouragement. If intuition has benefited your life in even the most small and minute way or in the grand scale like it has for me, get out there and talk about it for anyone that's willing to listen because we can only be better for it. Okay. All right. That's it from me. I will speak to you guys next time.